So they're on the anthems right now in Stockholm. I've got the TV muted while I'm doing this. Colorado lost this game yesterday, but in overtime. I actually, looking in the matchup yesterday, I think Ottawa's more than a match for them right now. I would not be surprised to see Ottawa win again. I guess we'll find out in a couple hours. Edmonton's in New York against the Rangers, so this is an interesting matchup. These are the two teams that are most likely to be resurgent. Sorry, Montreal, but I would put the Rangers a little bit ahead of Montreal. Because Carey Price is out for Montreal now. Montoya's hurt, and we don't know how long Lindgren can go. The Rangers have Lundqvist, who may be older, could be over the hill, but I'd still say the Rangers are in better shape right now. And the Oilers, 2 wins in a row, they're looking for 3. The Rangers with 5 wins in a row, they're looking for 6. But Montreal's at home to Buffalo, so hope springs eternal. Buffalo's coming in on a miserable streak, and Montreal is 7-9-1 right now, looking for a win. And I honestly, I would take Montreal just because Buffalo is for whatever reason Buffalo can't get out of this mess they're in. Chicago's in Carolina, so the Blackhawks have been playing pretty poorly, and yet Carolina seems to be on the verge of turning it around. They've won 2 in a row. They're above 500 right now. They can win this one. We start backing off on the whole discussion of how bad they've been so far this year. So we'll see. But Columbus has lost 4 in a row, and they had a huge advantage over Carolina in that division, and that's kind of disappearing. Detroit, they're at 500. They're relevant right now, and we'll see how long that lasts. Taking advantage of a Columbus team that's going to have some issues right now with its self-confidence would be perfect for Detroit. They've had a very good road trip, and now they're at home. Now they got to make some hay. Florida's in Jersey. Jersey's lost 4 in a row. Florida would look like exactly what the doctor ordered, but again, when I look for all right, this could be an upset. To me, anyways, this looks like the one where that could happen. Yesterday I picked Carolina, and the day before I picked Arizona. Today, my pick would be Florida over Jersey. It just feels like Florida's way overdue for at least a decent run. I'm not saying like make the playoffs, 6-7 game winning streak, but some kind of a decent little run. Any given season, every team will go on a decent run of wins. And I don't see any reason why Florida shouldn't. Minnesota's in Philly. Maybe one of the teams most influenced by injuries is Minnesota. And maybe the team most influenced by just horrible luck and the hockey gods hating them is Philly. So Philly, 8-6-2. I could see them winning this. But again, which Dubnyk shows up? Is it the one in Montreal, or is it the one from before that? There definitely seems to be 2 different Devin Dubnyks right now. Hello, kitty. Toronto's in Boston. Of course, Toronto came back and won in overtime last night against Boston. Now they're in Boston to beat them again. And I said yesterday, the matchup between Boston and Toronto used to favor Boston. I used to love that matchup, but now I don't. And I could totally see Toronto winning it again. And then after tonight, Toronto doesn't play again until this coming Thursday. So they have a nice long break to get Austin Matthews all healed up and everybody on the same page, and everything will be just fine in Leafland soon. The Islanders are in St. Louis. So St. Louis is on this great run, and the Islanders are coming off of a tough loss. They've lost their last 2 now. I don't know. St. Louis struggled to beat Arizona, or did Arizona come up and meet St. Louis's style of play? There's a question. It'll be interesting to see who wins this one, only because St. Louis has been that good. The Islanders have been that good at certain points too. I'll be watching this one really interested because, of course, I do my power rankings after Saturday games. And this game could very well determine, does St. Louis stay in first? Do they drop? Does Tampa get first? Does LA somehow come up and get first? It's not entirely likely. We'll see, though. Pittsburgh's in Nashville. Nashville's won 3 in a row. Pittsburgh's coming off of a tough loss against the Capitals. Pittsburgh, I'm getting tired of saying they have to turn it around. I'm getting tired of saying, well, they'll get better. This is just motivating them in October. Oh, wait, now it's November. Get motivated, Pittsburgh. Now's the time. Because meandering around 500 means that you're giving way too many teams a chance to catch you and potentially pass you. I'm even looking at Carolina when I say that. So think about it. Carolina's 1 game above 500. Pittsburgh's 2 games above 500. Carolina's not out of this by any stretch. Vancouver's in San Jose. The Sharks lost their last game. The Canucks lost their last game. I think the Sharks are going to win this one because California is not the Canucks' friend. California is where the Canucks go when they want to feel bad about themselves. California is where the Canucks go when they decide we've had too much of this winning. And they go through and they get killed by California teams. And it's frustrating to watch, but, honestly, they're usually entertaining games. Especially if you cheer for a California team, they're usually very entertaining. So, we'll see. I know San Jose's got to be excited to have the Canucks coming into town because the Canucks, gravity will take over with the Canucks just because they work really, really hard. They're playing a really good system, but they lack that top-end talent. They have a good first line, and then past that, the scoring talent thins out fast. Vanek has 5 goals, but he can be invisible for 3-4 games at a time. Anybody who's had Vanek on their team, you guys know what I'm talking about. So, San Jose, I think, has a Canuck team right for the pickings tonight. Winnipeg's in Arizona. Here's the matchup between the Jets and the Jets. So, the current Jets are 8-4-3. The former Jets are 2-13-3. I think if Winnipeg Jets fans were upset enough and said, you know what, we want the old Jets back, I don't think Arizona would fight too hard with it. I think Arizona would take a trade 1-for-1. One team is led by Mark Scheifele and has Dustin Byfuglien on the blue line. The other one's led by Clayton Keller and has Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the blue line. One team has decent depth and some good prospects, and the other one has good prospects. The Coyotes have a lot of prospects. And the question then becomes, when do prospects become suspects, and at what point does somebody somewhere realize that the whole Arizona experiment is failing? Because Arizona under GM Chayka has gone from middling team that misses the playoffs to absolutely abysmal, horrible team that can't win a game. And if that's because of who's coaching him, well, then that's on the guy who got rid of the other coach. Dave Tippett left this organization, and I believe he had reason to leave the organization. And I've seen nothing so far this year to tell me that Tippett made the wrong decision. Basically, the iceberg hit the Titanic over and over and over, and finally he's like, I'm getting off the boat. I'm tired of hitting the iceberg. So, or being blamed as the iceberg. That might be part of it for him, too. So there you go. We got 12 games tonight. And again, when you look at divisions and you look at standings and you look at who's standing where, it's everything is so close. Well, Weber and Drouin are returning for Montreal tonight. Anything else? Zach Smith dislocated his thumb. He's out 3 weeks. That won't hurt him. Because Ottawa has depth. That's why I'm saying it won't hurt him. Not anything against Zach Smith. Shipachev re-signed at the KHL. Of course he did. Anything else newsworthy? Matthews to miss 3rd straight game. Well, of course. And the Hockey Hall of Fame. Marner admits pass first mentality lingers. He should go talk to Jack Eichel. The thing that I wonder too is this. So if you've got a player on your team who's pass first, and he can't get out of that, either somebody on the coaching staff is failing, or that player needs something done to help get him out of it. Line change, I would think. But okay, looking at the stats, the standings, the Atlantic Division's pretty spread out. So you have 21 points, 22, 19, 17, 16, 15, 12, and 12. So the bottom teams are Florida and Buffalo, both of them with 12 points. So there's a 16-point spread between first and eighth. There's a 10-point spread between second and eighth. So Toronto's in second with 22. Now, the Metro Division goes like this: 20, 20, 19, 19, 18, 18, 18, 15. Carolina brings up the rear in 8th place, 5 points out of first, because they've played 3 games less than the Rangers, 2 games less than the Islanders and Philly, 3 games less than Washington and Columbus, 4 games less than Pittsburgh, and 1 game less than New Jersey. And of course, for Pittsburgh, part of the problem is everybody's got games in hand on them. And that eventually becomes an issue. I remember when there was one year that the Canucks had played more games than everybody else. And then you got to watch as everybody slowly caught them or passed them. Now the Central is more spread out. St. Louis has 27, and then after that it's 19, 18, 18, 17, 16, 14. So the only reason this division's spread out is because St. Louis has 27. Second place is Winnipeg with 19. Yeah, Winnipeg's still second place, even after that loss to Vegas last night. And Minnesota brings up the rear with 14 points. But Minnesota's only 5 points back of Winnipeg. That's it. And then in terms of games in hand, nobody really has games in hand in this division. Anybody except St. Louis has played 2 more games than most. The Pacific. This division is spread out only because the difference between top and bottom is fantastic. In the middle, there's some tightening up that's been going on. Points are 24 for the LA Kings, 21 for Vegas, and then 18, 18, 17, 16, 13, 7. So Edmonton sits 5 points behind Vancouver with a game in hand. They sit 8 points behind Vegas with a game in hand. And San Jose has 2 games in hand on everybody ahead of them. So if San Jose wins tonight, they'll leapfrog Vancouver and Anaheim. But if Anaheim takes a point or 2 points, they're only 1 point behind Calgary and Vancouver. It's really not a stretch to say that Anaheim's going to pass Vancouver and Calgary. And Edmonton with 13 points, I really think they're going to get better. And then, of course, Arizona with 7. 7 points. All right. The Ottawa Avalanche game has started. And they're playing Erasure. Just to remind us, they are in Stockholm. So anyways, or no, that's Depeche Mode. Yeah. It's similar, but yeah, it's Depeche Mode. Just can't get enough. All right. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through and you happen upon this channel. And I also want to throw this in. I did my best to clean this up the other night. And there isn't really anywhere to put a lot of this stuff. So what I've been doing is I've been slowly getting more binders and pages and storage items. The problem it really is we need a bigger house. Need one. The duplex thing for 5 people sometimes gets a bit crowded. So yeah, I know how that looks, and I did my best to clean it up as best I could. There's no garbage in it. It's just all, you know, I took out the hockey card box. I'm like, all right, I'm going to put them back where I had them. All right, I got these books. I'm going to put them back. So it's a work in progress. So I apologize for how that looks. But like, for instance, this is ink cartridges for that printer. That's one of my old books. Oh, that's one of my old hockey books. and yeah, a lot of other stuff. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and yeah, and I actually ordered a Pro Set card, the only Pro Set card that I didn't have in that 9091 set, so I can get that into Pages. Yeah, I'm putting Pro Set into Pages. What do you want to make of it? And then hopefully I can get some of those other boxes out of there. All right, guys. And this is why when people say, "Oh, do you want hockey cards?" and I say yes. If Yvonne knows my answer's been yes, she kind of goes, "Really? Yep. Where are you gonna put them? Doesn't matter. They're hockey cards. They're great. They'll find their own home." So yeah. Again, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys again soon. And you don't say Happy Remembrance Day, but Solemn Remembrance Day. It's a holiday that I don't think gets enough attention from people, and it's important because the further we get from why we have Remembrance Day, the easier it is to forget why we have Remembrance Day. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had a good day and have a good day, and I get to watch Ottawa and Colorado. Talk to you again soon.